Chapter 228. The beast, with a body as black as coal and a single gigantic blood-red eye, began to gather spiritual energy for a devastating attack. The green-haired guy wanted to order the warships to quickly retreat and avoid this shot, but Yul knew it was already too late. The beast had appeared too close, and with such power emanating from it, Yul was certain that nothing could escape the speed of the attack. A piercing screech filled the air as the beast launched a golden spiritual energy orb. This attack tore through a fleet of warships with incredible force, ripping everything in its path. Instantly, a battlefield emerged, with a row of sunken ships, some still billowing smoke. Yul and the green-haired guy cursed under their breaths. Sometimes having too many wasn't always a good idea. Just one attack from the beast had easily taken down a dozen warships. The knight in the red cloak, quietly observing the battle, cursed loudly, "Damn it!" The sea monsters hadn't even been cleared, and now another giant had appeared. But what happened next shocked him even more. From the sea, more such creatures began to appear. Spiked orbs from the ocean floor, each as large as 3 buildings with 4 additional legs, made their presence known. Their appearance alone indicated they were offspring of the Dark King. Even the Holy Child, though fighting, was drawn in by the powerful and putrid auras swirling behind him. Now, humanity faced sea monsters and, amidst the tens of thousands of warships, a new batch of formidable enemies had appeared. The scene truly left the Holy Child with no room for optimism. The spiked orb monsters silently observed as if awaiting orders. Meanwhile, the warships were bustling with activity, commanders continuously issuing orders for their soldiers to prepare to fire. The tension in the air was palpable, as taut as a bowstring. Then, the spiked orb beasts began to illuminate the entire sea with their golden spiritual energy orbs. It must be understood that each of these blasts could obliterate dozens of armored warships. What made matters worse was their appearance right in the midst of humanity's vast naval fleet. This not only restricted the warship's firing range, but also split their firepower and left humanity in a state of confusion. You'll watch this scene with anger. They were like giant blackheads on a face, utterly irritating. His eyes glowed brightly with determination as he declared, "Don't dream of destroying these warships." Back on the battlefield, a black dragon's foot slammed into the ground, causing it to shatter immediately. The blood-red-eyed dragon father looked ferociously bloodthirsty, staring intently at its offspring. It seemed a fierce battle had taken place, with the thunder dragon of Misty Mountain coming out worse for wear. Its entire body was covered in fresh blood. The thunder dragon desperately tried to wake its father by calling out, "Father!" but it was only met with a cold growl. The father's eyes showed no sign of recognition. Dragons are known to be intelligent creatures, possessing both intellect and emotions akin to humans. However, under the influence of the dark power coursing through the dragon father's veins, he could no longer recognize his own offspring. All that filled his gaze was an intense desire to fight. The black dragon began to roar and strike at the thunder dragon with its wing. It attempted to decapitate the thunder dragon, but suddenly a purple figure darted in like lightning. It was the purple scythe, a fourth-order transcendent mutated mantis. Using its sturdy pincers, it managed to intercept the black dragon's sharp wing, sparks flying continuously. Damn it! The black dragon's slashing force was incredibly terrifying. The thunder dragon recognized its comrade and immediately warned, "Brother, if you push yourself too hard, you might die." Well, that was quite a mood killer, but unfortunately, the purple scythe also knew it was true. Suddenly, the ground shook as a large foot stomped down, shattering the ground. It turned out the gym boss had arrived, a mutated rhinoceros with a huge, muscular body. There were no signs of injuries on him at all, indicating one of two things. Either he was so powerful that he completely dominated and crushed his enemies on the battlefield, or he had been so busy working out that he had just remembered the ongoing battle. Upon seeing the chaotic fight, the mutated rhinoceros immediately burst into loud laughter, reminiscent of Doflamingo, with the face of someone utterly addicted to fighting. On the eastern battlefield, the mutated rats of Misty Mountain were finishing off the remaining black wolves, which actually resembled lynxes more. It was unclear what to call them, but they had done an excellent job, clearing out one part of the battlefield. Suddenly, a ferocious beast with a massive body came charging out frantically. This creature seemed to be the result of a bizarre love triangle between a rabbit, a boar, and a deer. As soon as it appeared, it started looking around wildly, its claws pounding the ground and creating chaos. The small beasts of Misty Mountain immediately scattered in all directions. Only Lan Feng knew this beast well. It was the Rat King of Australia, or rather, the Claw King. However, this Rat King seemed quite aggressive and reckless, lacking the demeanor of a king. As soon as he saw his enemies, he grinned wickedly, his eyes flashing with a terrifying killing intent, and laughed loudly. The screeching laughter sent chills down everyone's spines. Cheesy had just finished dealing with Australith and hadn't even had time to rest before another enemy appeared. He frowned and complained, "I don't understand why another king-level creature has to show up." It's important to know that the king of a species is a creature selected for its strongest attributes and most dominant skills characteristic of that species. Facing them without any understanding is akin to courting death. But the gurgling sound behind him caught his attention. Damn it! The mass of dead Australith flesh was moving again, coiling up like a living creature. The buffalo demon immediately noticed it. This Australith was not only not dead, but also evolving. The key players of Misty Mountain were all dumbfounded. Was this battle only just beginning? Sure enough, the previously evolved form of Australith appeared. The face was eerily familiar. After that roar, countless bones and joints were regenerated and repositioned. Australith's body completely transformed. It started aiming at Cheesy, directly confronting him. Cheesy realized that this beast was evolving without any conditions. They did not know that perhaps this was the power that the Dark King had bought with his evolution points. This scenario was happening with all the remaining Australiths. Well, if they kept resurrecting and evolving, then dying again to bring evolution points to the Dark King, wouldn't this be an infinite loop? Cheesy was boiling with rage, furrowing his brow and grinding his teeth. "Do you think I'm afraid of you?" The Flower Goddess and the Tiger Legion were also ready for a new battle. Her eyes were resolute. Cheesy then led the charge once again with the other key players. Both Cheesy and the Flower Goddess were not the same as they were 3 years ago. They had grown much stronger. Although both sides benefited from the third wave of spiritual energy, the living conditions under the divine tree were entirely different. And most importantly, unlike the combat tools manipulated by darkness, they had warm, strong, and resilient hearts. The divine tree was conversing with the Dark King. "What? You send me despair? Don't be ridiculous. Even humans don't say such childish things." But the Dark King was not joking at all. His voice was firm as he replied, "Do you think you're the only one recruiting powerful subordinates? Do you think I came here unprepared?" While he spoke these words, on the battlefield at sea, the young chieftain was being suppressed by the Octopus King. The tentacles of the Octopus King had somehow become incredibly powerful, even piercing through his Susanoo and striking his real body inside. Oh, it turned out the chieftain was fighting the Octopus King. I thought he was battling the Sea Crab King, who was actually fighting the Islamic saint. The saint was straining with all his might to resist a single claw, and it was clear he was bleeding from the impact due to the immense force from that crab claw. At sea, there were fires burning everywhere. In the sky, Yo could be seen hovering, trying to gather the scattered pieces of steel. But a sight made him gasp. So many spiked orb monsters had appeared, covering the entire battlefield, and countless ships had vanished from sight. The commander of the Free Federation Navy was demanding damage reports, and the screen displayed that an entire fleet had been sunk. The commander fell into deep thought, cold sweat pouring down, uncertain if they could hold out for another 10 minutes. It's unbelievable. The entire naval might of humanity had been brought here, only to be torn apart like a sheet of paper. Would anything change in the next 10 minutes? The Dark King began mocking the divine tree, calling the alliance with humanity foolish. It turned out that from the beginning, he had commanded 7 kings of the sea, and later sought out the kings of the land, dominating them with overwhelming power. He spread his arms and twisted his body like a gloating jester. From the very start, You have been far inferior to me, both in numbers and strength. You never had any hope of victory. The divine tree, in the face of these mental attacks, remained completely calm, saying that it was not always the case. Humans, though small and foolish, could sometimes erupt with unexpected wisdom. At this moment, a transport plane was flying at extreme speed towards the battlefield. The cargo bay opened, revealing Xiao Ling and her subordinates, along with a strange creature. An elephant? Perhaps a divine elephant, but it had a series of glowing rings linked together on its body. Xiao Ling observed the battlefield from above, explaining why she hadn't been present from the start. The divine tree smirked cunningly and said, "There's one thing you got wrong. Those who assist me in this battle are not just humans." End of chapter 228.